Okay, so we're heading out to check the pigs to see if our electric fence is still up. And just like I said, it is, and they are in the right spot. I'm not sure. Are you mad at me? You're mad about it? Yeah? She's mad about it. How is Ego? How is the egoist? So, is he sullen? Is he mad at us? So that's good. Pig's in the right spot. Hopefully we can get Ego on the mend. Good job, piggies. I'll get your food. Just a second. Last night it was so funny. He was used to the fence. Like you could tell he knew what electric fence was. These ladies had never experienced that. But he knew immediately what we were doing. And he was mad. He was sullen. It was so funny. Yesterday, I shared about a devotional that I've been going through. It's called 40 Days of Fasting from Negative Thinking. And so I shared about day number 1 yesterday. And so I think today's one is really powerful. And it's fasting from the thought that I feel powerless. I just love the way it explained this. When we feel powerless over our past, we feel guilty. When we feel powerless over our future, we feel afraid. When we feel powerless over our present, we feel depressed. And when we feel powerless and feel like our circumstances or the people in our lives won't change, we feel angry. And wow, I've never heard of it shared that way. And when I read that, I was like, man, that really explains a lot. That feeling of powerlessness. We wouldn't probably say that, like, I don't like the way this is, life is right now. I'm feeling powerless about my circumstance, or I'm feeling powerless about, the way life is right now. We might say I'm depressed, but we wouldn't link it with feeling powerless. So that was such a good way to say that. And it is so wonderful to know that we can, by changing our thoughts, by reworking our attitude, we can begin to regain that sense of feeling like we have power, like we have control over our lives. And I don't think, I think some people could say, oh, power is bad. I don't think it's talking about, bad power. It's talking about just the sense of that we have control over our lives, our destiny, our future, our present, even our past, in a way that God works all things to good. So anyways, this is what I wanted to share about how you can kind of change your attitude about feeling powerless. First, I'm going to change my goats. So, you need to think, when you're thinking about life and your sense of feeling powerless, if that's where you're at the moment, you need to think and take inventory. You need to realize that God has not given you a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and sound mind. Believe that. You also need to realize that God will do exceedingly and abundantly more than we can ask, think, or imagine, according to the power that is in you. And also, when we dream and believe and are living life, God can do more. When you're feeling that sense of powerlessness, and I think we all do at some point feel that. We feel powerless. So whether you have in the past, or right now, or will in the future, feel powerless, you need to remember several things. You really need to remember to just take inventory and realize that God is not giving you a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and sound mind. Believe that. Power, love, and sound mind. That is you. That is in you. You also need to realize that God can work and do exceedingly and abundantly more than we can ask, think, or imagine, according to the power that is in us. That power is in us. And that is an amazing thing to think about. Man, the power is in us. We also, when you're thinking about this and you're asking God for things and you're talking to Him and you're working through life and issues, realize that what you're thinking and asking and living, God is a God that's way bigger than that. I think it's so easy to put Him in a box and not think about that He's the God that created the earth and all of these animals, goats and giraffes, and I mean, there's some goofy animals out there, but He created them all, and this earth and the way it all works together in 7 days. That God is in you. And I think about all the Old Testament stories and the characters, you know, the people in the Old Testament, and I've read them so many times, I almost begin to feel like they're just good old friends. And I think about, you know, the plagues. We were on the wagon train. We saw lots of grasshoppers, and Josiah and I talked about it. We're like, well, think about it. You know, the plague of the grasshoppers in Egypt wiped everything out. There were so many grasshoppers, and you know, we were seeing so many grasshoppers there, but there was still lots of the grains and the crops out there. And I think about the flood and everything Moses did, and Joshua and Caleb, and I mean David, all of them. It's amazing, the miracles. And the sun standing still, that is another one. I think that would have been so cool to witness, that, you know, the sun stood still because he asked, well, God, I need to finish this fight, so please make the sun stand still. And it happened. I mean, God can do way more than we, I think, even can begin to imagine. He's a way bigger God. So don't put Him in a box, and realize that that power is in you. You also need to think that, you know, the Holy Spirit is in you. The Holy Spirit is in me. We also need to really think and believe and know, trust, have faith that the Holy Spirit is in us. He's in us. He's in me. He's in you. And that makes so much difference in our lives. He is actively wanting to help us, guide us, teach us, be with us, commune with us, and that is a beautiful thing. He is in us, and that is where He is the source. We need to plug into Him because He's the source of our power, and our feeling of, you know, hopelessness and lack of joy, and all those things can melt away when we plug into Him. Stinky Buck got in, so we got to drag him back. So how to catch him. He knows. He knows. You're a brat. He knows I'm going to take him away. Little stinker. We caught him. He's going back. We're running. The pigs are where they need to be. The goats are back where they need to be. And you've been encouraged to not be powerless in your life. It's been a great day. I hope you subscribe, like, comment, and share, and I'll see you in the next video.